What's good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the Film and Box Office News Live Podcast. Be back in 30 seconds. What is good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the Film and Box Office News Live Podcast, episode number 37. We're doing a review of 300. This is Sparta!
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes? Soon as they get here, everything will be alright. I need a hero. Someone superhuman who can come and save my life.
What is good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the live podcast of Film and Box Office News, episode number 37. Before we get started, I want to welcome Phil, Cliff, Green Shirt Guy, loyal council members, and I want to remind you, if you are not subscribed, please go down below, hit that subscribe button. Look for our 500 subscriber giveaway. We are about
close.
17 away from 500, which is excellent. So remember the rules. You got to go to the channel. You got to subscribe to the channel. You have to find the 500 subscriber video. Just scroll down a little bit, and then you like and comment on that video, and you will be entered into the contest where we have 3 great prizes. The third place prize is a Heroes in Crisis set 1 through 9, donated by Jeff DePrez of NE Comic and Toy, which we saw today, the toy show today. And he donated another thing for our next giveaway, which is great. The second place prize is a head sketch design of your favorite character by Green Shirt Guy, a.k.a. Ronaldo Pizarro. And our first place prize is a CGC 9.8 graded comic, which we are still discussing what it will be, but we will let you know later because we want you guys to enter in before you know about that. So please enter into the contest. And remember that we do this live show every Sunday at 5, and then the comics on Monday at 8 p.m. What's good, guys?
What is up?
What's good? Ayo, Council. What up? What up, Empire Comics? Angel?
Nice. Angel.
It's nice to have some regulars.
Yeah, it's always good. So anything
mystery boxes.
Yeah, that's right. Go over to Empire Comics. He's got those mystery boxes now. I believe there's about 10 comics in his mystery box, and some of them are gonna have like 1 in 10s, 1 in 25s, 1 in 50s. And one of them, he says, gonna have a golden ticket, which will get a CGC 9.8 slab, and I believe it's the Thing done by, I forget which artist, but it has Doom cover with the Thing, issue number 1, 9.8. Pretty dope. Get over to Empire Comics and get into that.
Sing the song. I've got a golden ticket.
I've got to go. Funny that we say this, bro, because I just watched a thing where they pulled out the original book of Willy Wonka.
Okay.
And the origin of the Oompa Loompas.
Oh, is that right?
And I was like, oh my God. It is one of the most racist things in like history. And I'm just like, yo. I'm not even going to get into it, but look up a video, Origin of Oompa Loompas, an original book, and it's just like crazy. Yeah, if you guys look inside the chat, we have the link that you can go get Empire's mystery box. Hit him up.
And the link for our giveaway.
And the link for our giveaway as well. A couple things that I watched. I've been watching Sandman. I'm about halfway through it. I love
Welcome to 2023.
That is an amazing show. Sandman is an amazing show to me. Love it. We just finished watching the one where his sister death and the guy that every 100 years he comes to see. That was such a great episode. I suggest Sandman heavy. And Kamaria got me started on the Bridgerton.
That's one that's in my queue.
I've watched Bridgerton. Yeah.
At first I was like, Then in the middle of it, I'm like, oh my god, is she pregnant? What's going on?
I'm watching the show Love and Death on like
is that good?
Yeah, it is pretty good with Elizabeth Olsen and Jesse Plemons.
I have.
I seen the commercial for that. I seen the commercial. That's HBO Max, right?
Yeah, that's HBO Max.
Yeah.
I might start watching. Have you seen the previews for Beef on Netflix?
I gotta watch that. Beef.
That looks good.
I hear it's very popular right now. Beef is a big one right now. Yeah. All right, let's jump into some Nizoos.
I hope this.
Shout out to our boys over at Screen Rant. This is where we get our news from. Bad Boys 4 is happening.
Why?
That video teases dramatic Will Smith and Martin Lawrence scene.
Why?
Because 3 was successful.
Yeah, but 3 was a perfect ending to that series. Now you're just dragging it out.
Yeah, but that's what.
And 3 wasn't even that great of a movie, to be perfectly honest with you. It was okay, but it was a nice little encapsulated everything.
And it looks like Will Smith is surviving the canceling of smacking the crap out of a fellow actor on live TV for a joke.
Let's wait for the movie to actually come out before we start saying surviving the canceling.
Because I gotta tell you, his other 2 projects didn't do well. The one that was on Apple TV, nobody watched.
Yeah, I'm still not happy with the way he handled it. He never really apologized.
He apologized, but he didn't apologize to Chris Rock.
Yeah,
he apologized to everybody else. Don't apologize to the person you actually slapped. Apologize to everybody else who you might have upset that you can still make money from.
And
I almost feel like
when he was trying to reach out personally, I mean, you took so long, and now your calls aren't being returned.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
so
honestly,
it looks like you're pandering.
If it had been me, of all people, I would have listened to Diddy that night and be like, "Yo, let's talk about it at the after party. Let's crush this right away." Larry's saying he did apologize to Chris Rock, which, Larry, you are correct. He did, but not in a timely manner. And let's be very realistic about that.
I think he should have gave back his award.
He's never doing that.
It's such an egregious act that he should have gave back. He was like, you know what? I don't deserve this.
If he was going to do that, he wouldn't accept it in the first place.
I'm still freaked out that dude from Entertainment Tonight, it's like a 30-second clip where he's talking to Denzel Washington, and he's like, "Have you seen Will? Have you seen Will?" He goes, "No, I haven't seen Will tonight." He's like, "This should be a great night for him." He's like, "If you see him, you should talk to him. I think he's gonna need you tonight." And I'm like, that is so crazy. But there's a tiny little clip on Entertainment Tonight where a dude who works the red carpet at all these shows, he's like, "I think Will's gonna need you tonight." So like, I'm wondering, I genuinely
was he already acting up? Like
on the red carpet, was he already acting a little weird on the red carpet before?
Or did Jada say something to him on the red carpet that was already spicy?
Like who knows?
Yeah, and then Chris Rock was the extra straw that broke it.
Yeah, but that one red carpet dude is telling Denzel Washington, "I feel like he's gonna need you tonight." I'm like, talk about extra sensory perception, Like, wow.
Phil, were you gonna say something about it?
Oh no.
All right.
Look at Larry.
Larry says nobody's giving back an Oscar. It's like a Super Bowl to them.
Yeah, no one's giving back the ring. No one's giving back the trophies.
But that was just so. Not that we won't spend that much time on this, but like the fact that he went up there and was like, "Thank you so much for this award," and everybody was just like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yo, you
literally just watched that.
You assaulted somebody, like,
what got me was in his speech was how he was saying he wanted to be a force for love and peace in the world. Right,
and what a privilege it is to protect women. Let's not
Right,
forget
that too. Like, if you're gonna, this clearly Will Smith can't ad lib because he went with the speech he already had. Because that's the time you go, look, I just screwed up, and I'm gonna make it right. And then you give your speech.
Larry says, yeah, that was crazy how they all clapped for this dude after what he did. Chris Rock had to feel some kind of way. All you gotta do is look at the video and see his face the whole time after that.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? The three hostesses are the ones that went to Chris Rock to make sure he was okay. The hostesses of the show, right? And he told them, he said, I feel so bad. He goes, I just took your night away. He's like, this night should have been about how you three hosted the Oscars, right? And it is now only about how I got slapped. And I'm like, wow.
Yep. All right. There's a lot of fan art of Rosario Dawson becoming Catwoman, and I'm just like, no, bro. Like, no.
Too busy.
She's already Ahsoka. You know what I mean? Like, no. So we're just gonna speed past that. I love you, Rosario. You're one of my faves, but
she needs to be out there being like Botequenga. We need to Botequenga on film.
Exactly. Indiana Jones 5 gets series worst Rotten Tomatoes score, including Crystal Skull. How is that possible when it hasn't even come out?
Because the preview reviewers. Yeah, so all the press got their chance to see it,
and they're giving it the worst.
Well, here's the thing: the press. I
don't know about this.
The critics always give stuff that the fans like. Well, not always, but a lot of times give stuff that the fans like a really low score, and then we go see it and they're like, "Oh, it was awesome."
Yeah.
Quantum Mania is the perfect example, which I just watched with my sons last night.
Is that the first time you watched it?
With them, well, because it's on Disney Plus.
Right.
And
okay.
I've seen it. I think I saw it twice in the theater, but they hadn't seen it yet, so we put it on. They loved it. Yeah. They loved it.
And another story coming up. We're going to talk about some stuff because that Quantumania, if you've looked at the little description, you'll notice there's no mention of Kang or Jonathan Majors in that little description on Disney Plus. Yeah, but as far as this, I'm finding it not to trust Rotten Tomatoes because I find James Mangold to be a great director and he makes great movies. So the fact that he would total blunder this, I find it very hard to believe.
Can I reiterate something? It is not about trusting or not trusting Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is aggregating data. That's what it does.
And here's the conspiracy theorist in me. Rotten Tomatoes is not, their algorithm is way flawed, and sometimes they push data to the side to push the purpose because one of their benefactors is as a studio. I'm not gonna tell you which one, but it's a studio. So
not tell us which one. Who cares if it's true?
So, but and in cases where there's no critical critics to aggregate, they just kind of make it up. Because sometimes there's 4 critics that love it and there's no critics that hate it, so they make up the number of
like, let's be honest,
Warner Brothers
who cares about critics anymore?
25% of Rotten Tomatoes. NBC Universal owns 75%.
So guess whose movies never are terrible?
Brandon Douglas says, interesting discussing, just dropping in to say hello. Well, hello there, Brandon. Thank you for joining us. Larry,
my prediction is we're going to like it better than Crystal Skull.
I think
we will too.
And I think that's about it. I think the other Indiana Jones are just too high for us to be like knocked out of that.
Yeah. And who listens to critics anymore?
I mean,
critics are like, maybe not all of them, but to me,
there's a couple I listen to.
Like, I feel like critics don't watch movies as fans anymore, or somebody watching a movie. You know what I mean?
There's more Gene Shallots out there.
They're watching it to look for the wrong parts.
Well, they're
feeling like they're watching it to get that spicy take for their click.
They're watching it so they can get a click on the internet. They don't watch it to watch it.
So, whatever with them. Next up, ambiguous and paradoxical. Why Nolan chose Oppenheimer as his new movie's protagonist.
I still want to see that.
I got to see it to see. You know what I mean? It's Nolan. Nolan's pretty good. He hasn't really let us down with anything.
I'm wondering when Nolan's going to do something. I mean, he probably hasn't even thought of this, or he hasn't. It's a long game. If he takes the movies that aren't something like this and Batman and makes a Nolan verse where everything folds in together. You take Inception, you take Tenet, you take a couple of these other ones, and all of a sudden,
The Prestige.
The Prestige. That's what I was thinking of.
Prestige. That'd be wild.
that'd be wild, right?
That'd
Everyone's
be
all
wild.
about universe.
What if he
now.
did that? What did Stephen King do? What was that thing he did?
The Dark Tower.
Was it the Dark Tower? But there was another one, wasn't there? About the castles, the Iron
That's
Castle.
the Dark Tower, dude.
Oh, but wasn't there a show called
They
The
made a
Castle?
movie.
Oh, there was
the
a
first
movie,
one,
and of
and
course,
it didn't do
listen,
well.
the movie didn't do well, and the movie was not a faithful adaptation of that book series.
I didn't
Although
hate that movie, and I haven't read the books.
I do not hate the movie, and you could, if you wish to, interpret the movie as a sequel to the books, right? Like this is just another. This is just another form of conflict he had in the multiverse, right? But what I love about the books is he has multiple books that tie into the Dark Tower. They happen to, right? Like one dude is trying to stop this bombing, and he's flying this plane, and before he stops the bombing and dies in the plane, he gets a vision, right? And the vision is of the Crimson King, and that's what he sees before he dies, right? The turtle that protects the kids in it, which in the movie the turtle is only symbolically present in the two movies, right? But like there's this creature, it's a super demigod creature, and it's the turtle, and it protects the kids. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, like I kind of vomited your universe into existence one day, right? And
This is real. This is all
right.
real.
And he's the antagonist. He's the antagonist to it, you know.
Yeah.
In the
But
book
like,
you're talking about.
in the book, right? But the thing is, the turtle is a major deal in the Dark Tower series. The priest that disappears at the end of Salem's Lot, he's a main character in the Dark Tower series. There's all these different things that keep tying it all together, and it's great because. And then they even go to our universe and talk to Stephen King.
Yeah.
That was
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
That's interesting.
It's a good 7-book set. Like, yeah, it's definitely.
They're doing a new
I have a
gunslinger
bunch
movie
of
though,
books. I haven't read
correct?
them yet.
From
What's
what I
that?
heard, they're doing a gunslinger movie. A new one.
Maybe because I didn't really hate the 90-minute one. I mean, it was like you know, I didn't hate it though, but
It's rushed.
it's rushed. Imagine like taking Harry Potter and knocking it down to a 90-minute movie.
Right.
Okay.
It's like meet Harry. Harry realizes he's got magic. It's like, hey Harry, let's try and teach you some stuff. Oh no, we're instantly attacked by Voldemort. We have to keep running.
That's what it's like because that's
Nice.
kind of what they did. They took something the size of Harry Potter and knocked it into a 90-minute movie.
Yep.
There's a couple Star Wars news. This one is Star Wars boss in full support of Hollywood writer's strike. Kathleen, of course, she has to say that. She has to say that. You know what I mean?
I was thinking about this the other day as far as the writer's strike goes. I don't know if you remember the last time there was a major one that lasted a while. You know what the result of that was?
A pretty good season of Lost.
Well, there's that. But
Good
in general
season of
across
Lost.
the entertainment landscape.
Mm.
Reality
Lost got
television
really good thanks to that
exploded.
writer's strike.
Reality television exploded because you don't have to have writers for it.
Yeah.
True.
So
Oh God, are you
just get
saying
ready for a
reality
bunch of
TV's coming
series that-
back?
Huh?
Are you saying it's coming back? Reality
I'm saying
TV.
you're going to see a lot more of those shows come in the
God,
next
I'm so
year or
tired
two
of
because
reality TV. Reality, like once in a while, it was when they had like the Real World and a couple shows. It was okay, it was fun. But then when
I watched some of
everything
them.
became a reality show, it's like, come on, man.
that's just
Um,
it's going to happen again.
They also closed the hotel. The
I
Star,
saw that. I got
the
an
Star
email
Wars
about that.
Hotel.
It's not
Wasn't
closed
it?
yet. It closes at the end
It's
of
about
the
to
season.
be though.
Yeah.
It'll be, it's at the end of the summer. It closes, and they close bookings on it to see if anybody that is currently booked wants to get out more or less.
Yeah.
And then they're going to open them up. I think at the beginning of June or like middle of June. It's basically for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like $4,000 a person.
Yeah. Larry
it's
says
immersive,
Clifford.
though. I mean, it looks fun.
Larry says Clifford, you have to do a show about the tie-ins to those movies. I don't know those things. Yeah, we could do a whole Stephen King universe one.
It'll be insane.
We'll do this one, then we'll jump to the other thing. Fast X star Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez reflect on the surprise cameos in the new entry and long-running Fast and Furious franchise. Phil, you're the only one that's seen it, so what do you say?
I say I enjoyed it. All right, I enjoyed it, and I have not seen all of these Fast and Furious movies. I saw like the first one and the second one.
Oh, really?
And then there's like a big gap. So when the movie starts like 10 years ago, I was like, okay, good. It's going to catch me up kind of quick.
That's what I hear. Like a nice little recap.
Yeah, and it's not really like a crazy recap. You could kind of jump right into this and not really be lost, or you'll get what's going on really quick. So
let me take a wild guess as to who we see in this movie.
Okay.
Paul Walker.
Let me get nope, not in Paul Walker. Let me guess that
Rock.
a certain Agent Hobbs, aka The Rock, appears in this movie.
I can't imagine why.
I like the end. Yeah, he like yeah.
Oh, he really does. Spoiler alert! He
No,
shows up.
He's the end credit scene. He's the end credit scene.
Oh, so they made up, did they?
No,
he's the end credit
Rock
scene.
needs the money. That's what it is. And Rock needs to be in everybody's.
Does Rock need the money?
He needs. Well, maybe he doesn't need the money, but he wants everybody to know that he's still around because he wants saturated everywhere.
Yeah, he wants people to know that he's not done.
Right.
But you would think.
And I still like The Rock, but he needs to take a break. He's everywhere. You can't swing a dead cat without seeing him in something.
But with the Fast and Furious, these are the last 3 movies. This is going to be a trilogy to close out the Fast
and I was like, that was the other thing. Like, if there was something, I was like, you know what? I'm waiting. I'm at the theater, and I'm like, okay, it might be getting like a little long, but I think it's going to wrap up. You know, and it's like, no, it's not going to wrap up because it doesn't wrap up.
Yeah. Well, the last one was what, 2.5, I think.
So, like, it just like I thought it was gonna like, you know, all right, we're gonna get to a conclusion. No, there's no conclusion. This is like cliffhanger city that they leave you with. Like,
wow. It was originally only supposed to be 2 movies. But then they said no, we're gonna make it a trilogy.
And Jason Momoa is like really excellent. Yeah. He is phenomenal in.
Some people labeled him the Joker to Vin Diesel.
Yeah, kind of. He's doing that kind of like that's the kind of villain he's kind of performing. Is like a Jokerous villain. It's like it works for a Fast and Furious movie like this. So,
yeah, Fast 9 was 2.5 hours as well.
Okay.
All right. All right. Last story.
Gal Gadot comes back as well, doesn't she?
Everybody comes back.
Gal Gadot is in there. So I guess everybody's in it.
Yeah, it's the culmination of them all.
And yeah, you don't see her body, but when you go falling off a plane from that height, how do you explain that?
It's movies, man.
I know,
right,
I'll get over it quickly because you let a lot go in these movies because you know they're ridiculous and they're fun. It's a popcorn movie, but like
it's a very fun popcorn movie. Definitely, I'm not really like one to like Fast and Furious, but I was like, this is pretty enjoyable. This is a solid action movie. It's not really all about like the car anymore.
It's about the family.
It's about family.
It's about the family.
Last rumor story we got on the screen here. Loki season 2 may include a Jonathan Majors Kang solution. So somebody was asked a question. Get this tweet up here. Here we go. Alex P was asked a question and said, so does this mean recast or are they entirely removing the Kang storyline? He says, no, absolutely not. Marvel is far too deep into the multiverse lore to back out with Kang now. The multiverse saga will continue. As for Majors, ... everyone will have the answer they're waiting for by the end of Loki season 2.
Not shocked.
Rumor is that Kang will change his appearance because of something that happens.
Shocking.
so that nobody can recognize him again.
He'll permanently have the blue. Like the
right.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what happens, like, that means Marvel's already made up their mind.
Oh, I think we already know that, though, right?
Yeah, but what I think they're going to do is they're going to film that alternate with the new person at the end. But if it comes out that he's innocent, by the time this comes out, they'll revert back to the original thing they did.
I mean, it's possible. The writing for that's not difficult.
Yeah.
I would say, though, they haven't really.
Like, could they switch it up on Disney Plus Johnny like Depp, that? Really nobody's gonna notice. Like,
yeah, like they'll have the whole season,
yeah.
But they have two versions of the end. And if he's innocent, they'll play the original version.
Well, that's assuming it's done by then.
Well, it's not coming out till October.
Okay.
His trial, I think, starts in June. So
okay.
It gives it about 3 months. So we'll see. It's not looking good for him, but I mean, it's not looking good from the standpoint of all these other things have come out due to this incident. And I think he's kind of tainted regardless if he's innocent or not.
That was going to be my point.
You know what I mean? So
it's kind of like what's that phrase you hear all the time about, before truth has a chance to get out, the lies gone around the world twice already. So
yeah,
even if he didn't do what he's being accused of, people are still going to remember. Oh, wasn't he accused of da da da? And Disney doesn't.
Yeah,
they don't want to have. They don't even want to.
And then, like you mentioned before, Ant-Man is now on Disney Plus, and they've completely removed any mention of Kang in the little blurb. Any mention of Jonathan Majors. It just says Ant-Man and the Wasp go on a wild and wacky adventure through the quantum realm.
Now you're gonna make me look it up.
Yeah, look it. I'm telling you.
I'll find it. Hold on. Keep going. I'll find it.
So I think Marvel's going about it the right way.
I found it. Here you go.
Yeah.
Superhero partners Scott Lang / Ant-Man and Hope Van Dyne / the Wasp venture to the quantum realm.
Oh, so they just cut his mention out, huh? Like,
yeah. They're doing it the way they're supposed to do it. I feel, you know what I mean. But that is what it is. One other thing I heard that I don't have anything to pull up though. Stephen King has watched the Flash movie, and he calls it amazing and eye-popping and heartfelt.
Okay.
And I thought that was like, oh, Stephen King's not really a big fan of
to be fair to Disney, though,
movies.
Hold on. The Wakanda Forever blurb is the Wakandans fight to protect the nation from intervening powers following King T'Challa's death. No mention of Namor. So,
yeah, but
that one's a little generic too.
Yeah. But Jonathan Major's a big name.
So
you would want to put his creed and all that. You would want.
Now.
Yeah, you would want to put him in that blurb to it's Jonathan Majors. So blah, blah. But yeah. All right. So that's news. Let's hop into the domestic box office.
I'd be curious to see. Fast and Furious is going to be number 1, but
number 1's Fast X.
Not bad.
Shout out to Box Office Mojo for giving us the numbers.
Guardians is still holding strong though.
Guardians did not take a big dip, took it steady.
Yeah, Fast X
and even Mario Brothers is still kind of doing all right.
267 worldwide for Fast X.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. That's not bad at all. I thought the domestic pool was a little low though.
Yeah. I think honestly, Guardians is probably the reason. If it's still making 30 million, people are going, do I want to see a car movie, action movie, or do I want to see a superhero movie?
Right.
I wouldn't be shocked though if both of those numbers bump, because what comes out this week? Not much, right? If both of those numbers bump this week with Memorial Day.
Yeah, I don't think anything really comes out this week. That's big. So yeah, Fast X. 67 million, number 1. Guardians only dropped 48%, which is really good. We usually go to the AMC. We were gonna go see it, but something happens that we couldn't go see it. But when I was looking for tickets for the AMC, the tickets are for the regular shows like almost sold out. All the shows. So this is holding on.
At Roosevelt.
This oh yeah, Roosevelt.
I'm just saying.
They're at 660 worldwide. At their this is their second week, right? Or third? No, this is their third weekend.
Oh yeah.
This is their third weekend. They're at 700 million.
That's insane.
It has a shot. I'm still saying it's gonna hit that 900. I don't know if it's gonna hit $1 billion.
I don't think it's gonna quite get to $1 billion, but I could be wrong. Well, it all depends on how long Disney leaves it, or Disney. Well, yeah, Disney. Disney leaves it in theaters. If it leaves it in the theater throughout the summer, I could see it hitting $1 billion. If they pull it before the end of the summer.
I mean, look at its drops. It's like for 3 weeks, your drop is like 50% each time. That's really good. That shows the strength of the movie and that people are enjoying it. Super Mario Brothers is in at number 3 with almost 10 million.
I think that's coming out this week are Little Mermaid and the Sebastian.
Oh, Little Mermaid. That's a big one.
I don't think that's going to crush, to be honest with you.
That's a big one right there.
I think Mario Brothers is still going to be right there with it. And then
Mario's at 1.2 billion.
The Maniscalco De Niro one, All About My Father, is the other big one.
We're not worried about that. That's not.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's going to compete with these, but I think that's probably do all right as well.
But Little Mermaid, that's a big one, man. I'm looking at maybe 70 to 80 million opening.
No way. Wow. I'd be shocked if it was over 40. No way.
I'm gonna predict 70 to 80 million.
Okay, when you're wrong, what do I get?
Listen, families want to go out and see this thing, man.
Okay.
It's Memorial Day weekend too, a 3-day weekend. Like, I can see it doing.
Well, all right, let's make predictions on. I say 70, 80. Phil, what do you say?
Oh, I don't know about 70, 80. I could see it doing. I can see it doing 60. I can see it doing 60.
60, Cliff?
Probably. I think I agree with Phil about 60.
Green shirt guy?
I think it caps at 45.
Ooh, 45.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was less, but I think 45 is optimistic.
All right.
With these other movies that are already out.
Coming in at number 4, we got Book Club, the next chapter. Made about 4 million with a decent 55% drop. Evil Dead Rise at number 5, brought in about 3 million. John Wick moves up a notch. Man. Moves up to the number 6 position from last week.
Movie that won't die even the character does.
I just want to throw out there that when the live action Lion King debuted, it made 191.8 million.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I mean.
But I could be wrong. It's happened before. It'll happen again. I still.
But again, because
theaters would love it if it could do that now.
I honestly don't know. Audiences are gonna have to come out and surprise me.
Yeah.
But I'm actually looking forward to it. I think this Halle Berry, who is different than the Halle Berry we know, I think she's very talented and she'll make an excellent Ariel. And let's see what's up.
We'll see. I saw like a little clip of Under the Sea, and I was like, okay, they're doing it. They're doing the Under the Sea.
I.
So let's see how they get it done. We'll see.
I will say this: it better make all its money this weekend. It's not gonna make money after this first weekend.
What comes out next week?
I'm saying,
Spider-Man.
Based on word of mouth, I bet you it doesn't make much money after.
What'd you say, Phil?
Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man.
Oh, Into the Spider-Verse is already that close?
Yeah.
You got Cross the Spider-Verse?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Hold on a look.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man's the following weekend.
Wow. I got to catch up on
Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And then Transformers the week after that.
Oh, man. We got some movies coming up.
Oh, Transformers. Yes. I'm so happy that franchise has rebirthed itself. Like, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for Transformers. Number 7, we have Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
I actually want to see that.
Number 8 is Hypnotic. Number 9, Love Again. Dungeons and Dragons holding the number 10 slot again for the second week in a row. Only pulling in about 400,000, but
well, it's crazy
excellent.
too. It's only at 500 theaters. You know, you look at these other ones,
and Dungeons and Dragons is now playing on Paramount Plus.
So that's not bad. You're doing.
Is it really? Oh, I'll have to watch that tonight then.
That's not bad. You're doing digital and then that.
I'm watching that tonight. That's my movie tonight. And I'll give
Master Gardener debuted at number 12. Nefarious. I do want to see Nefarious. I do want to see. That's that movie about the guy who's talking to the prison dude, but he's possessed by like a demon or something like that. I think it's more of a Christian film, but I heard it's pretty good from what I hear. And then Sisu, there's your Knights of the Zodiac there, Cliff.
Yeah.
Number 15.
We gotta go find this movie and support it.
Ant-Man and Wasp still in the theaters. Still in the theaters.
85 of them.
Yeah. Still doing stuff. All right. That's your box office for this week. Let's see what happens next week when The Little Mermaid drops. We'll see if Guardians and Fast X can continue on their journey. All right. So it's time for that part of the show where, hold on. We have homework every week where we have to watch a certain movie. And then this week we have chosen, of course, the classic warrior film by Zack Snyder, 300.
Classic.
Right? Yeah.
I feel like I just saw this movie yesterday, but okay.
It's a classic.
It was 2006. I was
but it's a classic. 2006
is.
is like 18. How many years ago? It's almost
I know.
18 years ago.
How many years old? It's horrible.
Think about it. If we don't have this movie, you don't have Zack Snyder. If this movie absolutely flops, there is no Zack Snyder.
Oh no.
He's like, oh no, yeah. I feel like, I didn't like this like the first time I saw it, and I wondered, like, this time going in, was it me or did they not really know how to do a comic book movie yet? Because comic book movies were so hit or miss at the time, and like 2005, we had Sin City, and Sin City was like an out of the park, like home run hit for me, and then like this comes along, and I really wanted to like this movie. And I'll say one thing. One of the things I do like is that kind of rotoscoped look that comes across.
Yes.
That's like really cool.
And then watching it on my TV, like the filter.
Yeah.
With the fire, you can actually see the little pixelated like stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if this looks too good now. Like maybe my TV's old or something. But has anybody read the comic?
I have read it.
Yeah.
It's pretty. This is pretty close.
It's pretty close to the comic.
It is. I mean, I think it does a little licensing here and there, but it's pretty close. And I watched some of the extras after, because I watched it this afternoon, and then I have it on Blu-ray, and I was watching some of the extras, and they were talking about how when they took them a while to get it greenlit by a studio, that they were initially, one of the treatments that they did was they took the comic and scanned everything, and then they kind of like cut it and made it like a moving comic to try and get it sold. That didn't work. Then they made maquettes. That didn't work. And then whoever ended up greenlighting, I can't remember who the studio is. They gave him a little bit of money, and they're like, oh yeah, do a couple scenes for us so we can see. He's like, no. So what they did was they did a battle to show what the world of 300 would look like, and it's not a scene that's in the movie, it's with some other actor. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty close. It looks a lot. There's a lot of things in it that look very much like the comic.
So 300 is a story about King Leonidas of Sparta and a force of 300 men fight the Persians at Thermopylae in 480 BC.
Let's not forget the real villain is Xerxes. Yes, but like as far as his historical context,
it's close, but like the monsters and the dead zombie people and all that. You know what I mean? Like the Immortals. You know what I mean?
Well, the Immortals did exist,
but as they had them in the movie,
probably not.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But this is I've seen this movie before, and this is one of my older brothers and my nephew's favorite movies because they're soldier type guys, and they love the whole idea of Sparta and all that stuff. And the scene where they're coming to Sparta to tell them, oh well, you got to give up, Xerxes is coming, and you know the classic, this is Sparta, and kicks them down like the whole like, oh, could you imagine getting kicked in a hole that you don't even know?
That's right in the comic. Yeah, that's definitely in the comic.
That's just crazy to me.
There's a lot of great lines in this movie, and in fact, there are two historians in one of the documentaries I was watching that talk about that. The Spartans, it was a very warrior society, but it wasn't just you had to learn how to fight all the time. You had to learn how to play music. You had to learn some philosophy, so you were a well-rounded warrior. It wasn't just like you fought all the time, but that was like the main focus. But you need to be well-rounded. So when they have those witty quips back when they're talking to the different people, probably fairly close because they would have been learned guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know how he says our arrows will blot out the sun. He's like, yeah, so we'll fight in the shade. Probably would have been something.
We'll fight in the shade. So after he kicks the guy down the hole, Leonidas has to crawl up the mountain to talk to these people. Oh, they look like horrendous. Like
they were lepers. Yeah.
Yeah, like inbreds and all that. And then they'd have like the girl who would be possessed and tell them stuff.
The Oracle.
The Oracle.
Well, she wasn't possessed. She's high. She's breathing in that smoke.
Yeah.
And that was realistic too. That actually happened.
And they come to find out that the Xerxes people came there before Leonidas was even there, and gave him gold to betray. But Leonidas,
when he's climbing too, is there's all the rocks falling as he's climbing. It's full on, free climbing up that mountain. I'm like, how do you even get back down?
Slip and slide, man. He's gonna slide down that thing somehow. He comes back down. They basically tell him that he can't have war during
Parnea.
During their little tradition thing. So he's fighting with that until his wife tells him, what would a free man do? And so he decides that he's going to gather up 300 men, not the entire Spartan army, but just 300 men, and they're going to funnel the Persians down this way. And
300 men with sons.
With sons,
so
right?
Their names will carry on.
Yeah, so their names will carry on. Which contrasts to the end, which I thought was dope. With all, he's like, there were 300. Let's see how they fare against 10,000. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. So Xerxes, I thought, like, image-wise, phenomenal. The way he looks, like, if that is how he really looked in real life, I don't know.
Probably not. This whole movie's very stylized and very sexy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Rodrigo Santoro did an amazing job.
Yeah, and he also returns in the next one.
He's the best part of the next one, as far as
he returns in the next one, and I was itching to watch the next one.
I guess that's another thing I did like. It's a very stylized movie. It's just like the fighting in the slow motion is really because it's like everything is slow motion in this movie, like everything. Like walking up like down the hallway, they slow motion.
Slow motion.
Yeah.
What do they call it? The Iron Gates or the Hot Gates?
The Hot Gates.
The Hot Gates. So there's only one way for them to go in, but there's a deformed person. I don't know what else to call him, but like
like a hunchback.
The hunchback. His father was a Spartan. But I guess he had to leave because his son was deformed or whatever like that.
The mother convinced him to leave because she didn't want him to get rid of the baby.
Right. But the father taught him everything about being a Spartan. And then he's following them, and he finally gets to talk to Leonidas. He's like, let me fight with you. And he even tells them of a way, like, he's like, these Persians can come through this other way, and they can beat you. He tells them about it. But the one thing he's like, oh, you got a good thrust. Da, da, da. He's like, lift your shield, and he can't lift the shield. And Leonidas is like, we fight in a certain phalanx, and he's like, you're not gonna be a help with us, which I thought was like, bro, just let him hang out in the back. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, you only got 300 guys.
I know. Let him hang out in the back. Like, why are you rejecting him? Like, look at him.
Well,
like,
he says to him, you can help us, but you can't help us fight.
Yeah, but I'd be like, all right, man, just tail in the back over there. You know, whatever comes through, if anything comes through, it's all yours. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I would have said.
How about you go guard the goat path?
Yeah, and he rejects him basically, and he feels rejected. And he says, "Mother, father, you are wrong,"
and loses his shield.
Yeah, and which leads him to Xerxes, and Xerxes, you know, says, "I'll give you all kinds of pleasures and treasures, and I'm a good god, and this and that," and he basically betrays the 300. But before that,
though, they do mention, though, if you remember, after that conversation with them, Leonidas turns to his captain and goes, "Hey, you might want to send some guys go guard that, just in case."
Yeah, and
they send the I think they send the Athenians, right?
Yeah. Athenians, I thought, were like, they were cool because they showed up. That main guy, he was a fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the rest of them weren't.
Yeah, and he's like, "What are you?" He's like, "I'm a potter." "What are you?" "I'm a baker." "Spartans, what are you?" "Ho, ho."
Like, he had 300 soldiers.
Yeah. And I like the fact, okay, when they did the first battle, they took they had the emissary come, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Give this up now." And we have
scouts everywhere.
And the scouts, they put the scouts in the wall that they built to funnel them in.
They're the mortar for the stones.
Yeah, I was like, oh, these dudes is really, really, they're going in. And then Persia, they send their waves, and one wave after another, they rebel them. Like, they push them back. They send like elephants, all these other things. And then Xerxes calls for a meeting with Leonidas. And, you know, they tell him not to go, but he's like, if they assassinate me, they basically ignite all the Greeks will go crazy, and that's not something he wants. So he goes to meet him. And I like that whole scene with them back and forth. Like, he's like, "I'll make you a warlord," and he's like, "Oh, I would bow to you, but all this fighting is."
I did love that.
He's made my legs. I can't do it, and he's just playing them the whole time. But he tells them that in the end, they will know that a god king can bleed. And then he just goes back, and then they send more waves, and they send more waves. And then one of the touching part was the Spartan guy who had a son that was fighting with him. And I forgot about it. And you know, he's back to back with Magneto. What's his face? Fassbender, and they're
looks
fighting.
Amazing in this.
Yeah, and they're fighting together. You know, "Oh, you're still here," blah 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 blah. Then I remembered when I saw it slow motion and the horse coming, and I was like, "Oh!" And he chops his head off, and the reaction from the father, and the voiceover in the background. "He had a bloodlust that could not be contained," and he was just like, I was like, "Oh my god, that was wild." And so eventually Xerxes and them, they get the hunchback to betray. The Athenians warn them, like, "Yo, they're coming that other way. You know, we got to get out of here." Blah blah blah. But I guess the Spartans had to stick to the fact that they don't run.
Yeah, they don't ever give up.
You know, they don't ever give up. Probably would have been smarter for them to leave and team up.
I mean, maybe, but you got to think about when you're retreating, they're going to follow you into the hot gates.
Yeah, and it doesn't help anything for your legend. It doesn't help for the spirit.
Wow.
You know.
Oh yes, because every great military strategist in history was worried about their legend.
Right.
Like, come on.
Listen, soldiers. That's a big for soldiers coming from a family that has a lot of soldiers. A big thing is their legacy.
I don't doubt that, but
legacy's fine. But you're telling me tactical retreat doesn't exist?
One of the things they don't really mention, in the movie.
It does.
With this battle is, you remember the part where they're standing on the rocks watching all the ships crash? That was a real thing. They had a problem. The Persians had a problem landing boats and lost a lot of them. And the sea battle is almost one of the reasons that they were as successful as they were in the Hot Gates, because the sea battle, there was a fleet of I don't think they were Athenian. It was another city-state that took out a bunch of boats, as well as a bunch of them not being able to get there just because of the weather. So they weren't able to land as many troops as they were. I mean, they still had way more than the Spartans, but not as many as they probably could have had. And that's what that second movie is about: is the sea battle, which I don't think is as good. But
no, it's not as good. But at least I was gonna say, that's what I'm saying. Rodrigo Santoro, best part of the second film, he still delivers.
So basically, the ending is, the whatever's left of the 300 gets surrounded by Xerxes' army, and they put themselves in a little shield thing, and Leonidas acts like he's going to bow. Yeah, and he ends up throwing a spear, and he ends up slicing Xerxes. That puts the legend of a god king. They made a god king lead.
Like the slow motion was okay. One spot.
Yeah.
One spot that you got the slow motion right. The rest of the movie just too much.
Wow.
Yeah. And I like the arrows coming down when Leonidas is like standing there and he's thinking about his wife, the queen, and then they fling all the arrows. That was a good thing. And then the ending, like I said, when he's telling the story. And he's like, those 300 men, how will they fail against 10,000? And they're like, boom, boom, boom. Which I don't think we really saw in part 2, right?
I think I think all that stuff with the queen is like the stuff that he kind of added.
Oh, definitely. Everything of that is with the queen. The queen has one line in the graphic novel. The part with the spring his shield in the head or don't come home at all. Yeah. That's it. That's the only part.
What I love is the two moments that are kind of pivotal to the entire story is this is Sparta. Right before he does it, if you notice, he turns it back and looks at her, and she's like, "Yeah, you should do that." He's like, "I want a last chance to think about this." She's like, "No, yeah, you got to do that." And then right before that last, they get killed, he's remembering her and deciding, "Do I really want to do this? No, I have to do this."
Yeah. I was gonna say, and pivotal for her is trying to get influence over the council, and like they made that. I'm glad they gave her that, right?
Mm-hmm. But Lena Headey is great in this.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, she's amazing.
Sassy.
Yeah. Yes, and but the best part is it's like thanks to her, that's where the 10,000 men are coming.
Well, and Boromir. Remember, because he sends him back.
Boromir, that's where he's from. Yeah.
He's like, you're a great fighter, and we can use you, but you speak better than the rest of us. Go back and make sure this happens.
Yeah, so
because he's the one telling the story the whole time.
Yeah, here's some of the cast. You got Gerard Butler. I thought, what was his biggest movie? Like Olympus Has Fallen series, basically.
This is his biggest movie, I'd say.
Well, besides,
probably those are good movies. The Fallen series.
Yeah. Lena Headey, of course, is CERSIE from Game of Thrones. David Wenham, who of course is Boromir. Dominic West, who played a good villain character.
A smarmy prick in almost every movie I've seen him in. When he comes on screen, I already don't like him when I see him in movies.
Yeah. Vincent Regan, he was good. He was the father of the guy who got his head chopped off. Michael Fassbender, of course. Tom Wisdom, Andrew Plevin, Andrew Tyrion, Rodrigo Santoro.
Is that? See,
that's him.
Now I recognize him. Okay.
Yeah. And then many others. Many others. Of course, Zack Snyder wrote and directed it.
Put his son in it, looks like. Did you see that? He played Leonidas at 7.
Yep.
Got you. Yeah, and of course, there's just
how good Tom Wisdom looks for 50. Like, of all these dudes from then to now, like, he's aged like a champ. Look.
There's a sequel that we talked about. It's called 300: Rise of an Empire.
I haven't seen it.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It continues the story. Yeah. But there's supposed to be a third part, is there not? I remember
that I don't know about.
I remember this part 2 ending on a thing like, oh, well, there's supposed to be a third one. And they never really make the third one.
I don't know. I mean, the second one and then would be the third one would be completely made up, not based on the comic.
Okay. Well, any last comments?
Well, Snyder did Perseus too. Remember Perseus?
Perseus, yeah.
Not great. Not great.
Dude.
So boring. Looks good. Really boring.
Let's look at some
I
pictures.
gotta tell you, so I didn't realize that the sequel to 300 had a screenplay by Zack Snyder.
Oh, is that right?
And it is based on Xerxes by Frank Miller. So it does make me wonder.
Oh. So Rise of an Empire is based on the Xerxes comic.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Ooh, interesting. In May of 2021, Snyder revealed that he had written a third film adapting the Alexander the Great segments of Xerxes as a conclusion to his trilogy, but Warner Brothers was not interested.
That would have been. So what would have been Alexander the Great versus Xerxes?
Pretty much, because that's how it goes.
That would have been interesting. Do you see how you ever see behind the scenes where they spray paint the abs onto everybody?
Yes.
It's a good comic. I would say, definitely you could read the comic probably quicker than you could watch the movie.
Yeah,
it's not very quick
read. It's Frank Miller before he became what Frank Miller is now. Who's, he's still an all right storyteller, but he can't draw the way he used to. Oh, that was the wild part too. So we've all seen what Frank Miller, Frank, all due respect to Frank Miller, he's an old guy. He's been very sick for the last however many years. They have interviews with him in the special features of what I watched. He looks so different. I don't know how to describe it. He looks like a young man, and it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. There they are, the 10,000 that we never see fight.
No.
Even in the sequel.
Right.
Yeah, this is like a 5 or 6 for me. That's really this is like a 5 or 6. Yeah, it's a lower. Yeah. It's like a 5 or 6 for me.
I
wanted to like
8.
it more. And
I give it like 7.5. I enjoy it. I wasn't one of those, I can't believe we have to watch this again. Halfway through, I'm like, there's parts of this I don't love, but I still enjoyed it.
I like the stylized. I like a lot of the stylized film, and the other half of the film is slow motion, and I wasn't feeling it as much. So yeah, it's like a 6.
I didn't notice as much of the crazy stuff when I saw it in the theater. Remember the guy where he's killing his generals, and the guy has like the shark arm basically, and he's all sewn together.
Oh yeah.
There's a bunch of characters like that throughout the movie. I'm like, man, I don't remember these from the first time I saw this.
That's right, Angel. They made a sequel, bro. It's called Rise of the Empire. It's okay. It's okay. If you watch the first one, I would say watch that one as well. You know what I mean?
It's got what's his name? Is the main character. He's been in some stuff. And then Eva Green, I think it is Queen or whatever.
Oh, I love Eva Green. Dude, Penny Dreadful's amazing, and she's in that. She's fantastic.
All right. Did we decide what we're doing next week?
No. Also, no one asked me for my rating on this movie.
Go ahead.
What's your rating?
And that was it. We weren't sure if it was going to make it to us from all the way from the set of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah, you're over at Petro.
This is the Dial of Destiny, by the way. Okay.
The Dial of Destiny.
Right? Just so that we're clear. All right. We're doing the alternate ending reshoots based on what the reviewers have commented. So we gotta have a few different endings ready for fans.
What's your number?
I'm with Phil. It's somewhere around 6 or 7. I'm not gonna lie, the Athenians being boy lovers comment definitely took it down a peg for me.
All right, Angel is saying we should watch Big Trouble in Little China.
We get this a lot.
I'm down for it. You guys down for it?
Yeah. Oh, you can do it.
I have to find it, but yeah.
All right, Council, you got your homework for next week.
Big Trouble in Little China. It's a requested. It's a high requested film.
We're gonna do Big Trouble in Little China, and we're even gonna ask Angel if you're available. Come on, since you suggested it, and come talk with us about it on the show if you're available, of course. So that'll be the movie next week. That's your guys' homework out there. Big Trouble in Little China
with Kim Cattrall.
Yeah,
it's an 80s classic, as Angel says. It's an 80s classic.
I cannot get over how some of these people have aged. Like Lightning is 61 years old now, James Pax, and he still looks great.
Yeah, it's an old film, man. It's the 80s. Yeesh.
Angel's so funny. What is this?
Look, he says he's down. All right. We'll talk on Tuesday if you're there. And if not, we'll send you out the link too, bro, and you can join us for that show. All right. So that's our show for tonight. We want to thank everybody for watching. Remember, if you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Be a part of our 500 subscribers contest. Be a subscriber on the channel. Look for our 500 subscriber video. Comment and like on that video for you to be entered into the contest of 3 prizes: Heroes in Crisis 1 through 9, a green shirt guy head sketch design, or a CGC 9.8 graded comic. If you're on Facebook, jump on over to YouTube. As Cliff has been telling us, the video is getting buried. I'm trying to figure out a way to clip it to the top of our video playlist. I haven't figured that out yet, but it'll take you 2 seconds to scroll down and find it. And, it makes it a little hunt for you guys as well. Just look remember, don't be confused by the short and the video. You have to comment on the long video, not the short. The short is just there to get you to the long video. Right. So remember, we are doing this every Sunday night at 5 p.m. We do film and box office news. And then every Monday night at 8 p.m., we do new keys and hot comics of the week, where we go over all the new keys and hot comics that are coming out for this Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. We want to thank everybody for watching, for subscribing. We only got about 17 more to get to 500. We're excited. We even got another giveaway for our 750 subscriber one, which is a good one. We're not gonna tell you what it is yet, but it's a good one.
Maybe I'll do 2 characters for some
full character, or maybe a full design. But we want to thank everybody for watching. We appreciate you guys so much. We do this because we love everything that has to deal with comics and film and TV and all that. And we know you guys like to talk about the stuff too. And you like us. You like us. You really, really like us. So we're going to keep...
you got us to 43 so far. Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So we love you guys as well. And we thank you guys all for watching. Shout out to Angel at Empire Comics. Go get those mystery boxes link in the chat. You can find it right there. So, for myself, for Phil, for Cliff, for Green Shirt Guy, and the rest of the Council of Comics, we thank you. We love you. Thank you for watching. We'll